Your husband used to talk to you. He used to tell you about his day, his worries, his dreams, and somewhere along the way, you're not even sure exactly when, he just stopped. Now you're living with a man who gives you one-word answers, stares at his phone, and acts like deep conversation is something that happens to other couples. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly why that happened and how to bring him back. First, I want you to know something. This is not your fault, and you are not alone. Research from the Gottman Institute, one of the most respected names in marriage science, has found that emotional withdrawal is one of the top 3 predictors of divorce. Not cheating, not money fights, withdrawal. That silent, slow disconnection that creeps into a marriage and takes over before either of you even notices. And here's what breaks my heart about this. Most wives who come to me describe the exact same thing. They say, he used to be so open, so present, I don't know who this person is anymore. The truth is, your husband probably doesn't know either. Most men who shut down emotionally don't do it on purpose. They do it because something inside them shifted. And that shift has a reason, usually more than one. Understanding those reasons is where everything changes. Point 1, he doesn't feel safe talking anymore. Now I know that might sting a little to hear, but stay with me here because this is not about blame. It's about understanding something that most couples never get taught. Men are conditioned from a very young age to associate vulnerability with weakness. They grow up hearing things like man up and don't be so sensitive. By the time they're adults, expressing emotion feels genuinely dangerous to them, even with the person they love most. But here's what most people don't realize. Even in a loving marriage, a man can start to feel emotionally unsafe without either partner doing anything dramatically wrong. It often happens gradually. He shares something, a fear, a failure, a frustration, and somewhere in the response he feels judged or dismissed, or like he's being managed rather than heard. It might have been completely unintentional on your part, but he filed it away. I've seen couples where the husband stopped talking about work stress because just once his wife responded with a list of solutions before he finished his sentence. He didn't say anything. He just decided unconsciously that it wasn't worth bringing up again. Here's what you can do today. The next time your husband says something, resist the urge to fix it, respond to it, or redirect it. Just say, tell me more about that. 4 words. That's it. You're sending him a message that this space is safe, that he can keep going. It takes practice, but it works. Point 2, he's carrying something he doesn't know how to name. This next one surprises a lot of people. We tend to think that when someone goes quiet, they must be angry, or checked out, or just not interested anymore. But a lot of the time, the silence isn't emptiness. It's overflow. Men, in general, are not taught to identify and label their emotions the way women often are. Psychologists actually have a term for this, alexithymia, which is the difficulty in identifying and describing feelings. It's significantly more common in men, and what it means in real life is this. Your husband might be drowning in stress, shame, grief, or anxiety and have absolutely no vocabulary for it. So instead of saying, I'm overwhelmed and I don't know how to handle the pressure I'm under, he says nothing. He goes quiet. He retreats to the garage or the TV or his phone, not because he doesn't want to connect, but because he genuinely doesn't have the words. I've seen couples where the husband had been silently struggling with feeling like a failure at work, as a father, as a provider, for years. His wife thought he was cold and distant. He thought he was protecting her. Neither of them knew they were talking about the same pain. Here's what you can do today. Try giving him words instead of asking for them. Instead of, why won't you talk to me? Try, I've been noticing you seem a little weighed down lately. Is it the job stuff or something else? You're offering a menu. You're making it easier for him to point to something rather than conjure it from scratch. That small shift changes everything. Point 3, the conversation has started to feel like a performance review. Now here's the part most couples get completely wrong. Think about how many of your conversations with your husband are actually about problems. The kids, the bills, the household, what's not working, what needs to change, what he forgot to do. Now think about how many of your conversations are just easy, light, just two people enjoying each other. For a lot of men in long-term marriages, talking to their wife has gradually started to feel like showing up to a meeting where they're always slightly behind. There's always something to address, a concern to discuss, a decision to make. And over time, he starts to associate conversation with conflict, or at minimum, with pressure. So he avoids it, not because he doesn't love you, but because it stopped feeling good. I've seen couples where the husband would go completely mute the moment his wife started a sentence with, "We need to talk about," because his nervous system had been trained to brace for impact every single time. She didn't realize that almost every serious conversation in their marriage had started exactly that way. Here's what you can do today. Deliberately create low-stakes conversation. Ask him something about himself that has nothing to do with the household, something he actually cares about. His fantasy football team, a TV show he's into, a memory from before you had kids. You're reminding him, and honestly reminding yourself, that you're not just co-managers of a household. You're still two people who actually like each other. Point 4, he doesn't believe it will actually help. And this is where it gets really important. Even if a man opens up, even if he finds the words, even if he feels safe enough to try, there's often one final wall standing in the way. He doesn't believe that talking will change anything. This sounds cynical, but it usually comes from experience. He's tried before. Maybe he brought up something vulnerable and the conversation escalated into a fight. Maybe he shared a concern and felt like it was used against him later. Maybe he talked and nothing changed, and he walked away feeling more exposed and more frustrated than before. After a few rounds of that, his brain makes a logical decision. Talking is risky and talking doesn't work. So why try? This is one of the most important dynamics I see in marriages that are quietly falling apart. Both people have actually tried. Both people have actually been hurt. But neither person knows the other one is working from old wounds, not present-day reality. I've seen couples where the husband had been burned in an argument 3 years earlier. Something he shared got weaponized in a later fight. And ever since then, he put a lid on anything real. His wife thought he was emotionally unavailable by nature. He was actually emotionally self-protective by choice. Here's what you can do today. When he does open up, even a little, even imperfectly, resist the urge to pile on or problem solve or counter. Just receive it. You might even say, "Thank you for telling me that. I really mean it." You are actively rebuilding his belief that opening up leads somewhere good. That trust doesn't come back in one conversation, but it comes back. I want to tell you about a couple. Let's call them Sarah and Daniel. They'd been married for 14 years when Sarah reached out. She told me she felt like she was married to a roommate. Daniel barely spoke at dinner. He'd answer questions with "fine" and "I don't know." She'd stopped asking. She was starting to wonder if she'd ever really known him at all. What Sarah didn't know was that Daniel had spent 2 years quietly convinced that he was failing her. Failing as a husband, as a provider. He was ashamed, and he had no idea how to say that, so he said nothing. The turning point came when Sarah stopped asking, "Why won't you talk to me?" and started saying, "I miss you, I miss us." That sentence cracked something open in him. Not because it was magic, but because for the first time in years, he didn't feel accused, he felt wanted. They didn't fix everything overnight, but they started talking again, and that was everything. So let's bring it home. If your husband has gone quiet, remember these 4 things. He may not feel emotionally safe anymore. He may be carrying something he doesn't have words for. Conversation may have started to feel like conflict, and he may not believe that opening up will actually help. Which one of those 4 hit closest to home for you? I really want to know. Tell me in the comments below. And if you're dealing with a husband who seems completely checked out of the marriage, I have a video on emotional disconnection that goes even deeper. Watch that one next. If this video helped you, please subscribe to Marriage Reset. I post new videos every single week, all of it designed to help you find your way back to each other.